Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of The Cloud Show. As you can see, I am not at home in my usual office for these interviews. I am in fact at a conference in Delhi. Woohoo! This has been a great conference so far. We have had a lot of talks about AI technologies, a lot of talk about cloud stuff as well. And I am here tonight to talk to you about Azure DevOps. Why are we using DevOps? What's it for? And what's the main sort of categorization for using this? I know that there are a lot of companies out there who are not using DevOps today. So I'm going to talk to a DevOps specialist here, my good friend, Nitin Pandit. Hello, Nitin. How are you doing?
All good. Thanks for asking. Hoping the same for you.
Oh, absolutely. It is an absolute pleasure to have you on the show tonight.
Same here. Thanks, and I'm feeling great to be on this show.
Perfect. So we are going to talk about DevOps, the use of DevOps. Why would we use it, and fundamentally, how does it work? Because even though a lot of companies out there are using DevOps and automation and all of that stuff, no matter where I go as a consultant, I always see that a lot of companies are yet struggling with it or maybe not fully using DevOps, which it sounds crazy to experts who use it all the time. But can you first tell the audience what is kind of the purpose of using a DevOps system?
So, as per my experience, or in my opinion, I would say like Azure DevOps is a complete whole ecosystem where Microsoft have provided, where you can manage their deployments along with the development. That's how we call it CI pipelines. And along with that, if you just go and you start building your applications, it makes very easy. Like you just do that and it's very seamless. You can deploy your application just in a few minutes. And it's easy now for the infrastructure guys to manage your services all together, I would say. And as well as for the managers to assign your boards, to manage your tasks. So overall, it's an ecosystem where you can do
it's a whole ecosystem of things. So we're talking specifically about Azure DevOps, right? And so with Azure DevOps, you said that you can manage your deployments using CI/CD pipelines. What's CI/CD stand for?
So when you just ask them, so there's just CI, continuous integration and continuous development. So earlier, before any CI/CD pipelines, what we used to do, we just start building our code in locally. Then we used to do some other, I would say, deployment tools to deploy my solutions, to merge my solutions, like the other old systems, right? Using CI/CD pipelines make very easy. You are just integrating your application. You are just committing your code at the back end. They are a full pipeline that start executing from that same time when you just commit your code. So that's how it's very easy now. And it's easy at the time of, I would say, the person who have the ownership of this project to actually check out what are the conflicts, how they have to manage, and the other things as well.
Okay.
So that's all together when you start writing your code, continuous development, and when you start integrating your application in your existing code, that's how it's worked as in CI as well.
Right. So the continuous development is the process of continuously evolving the application and checking in the code into your repository, which is going to be your Git repository. And then continuous integration is continuously deploying the application to the target environment for testing or for production,
for everything. Even to manage,
you can do for production.
Yes, we can, because it's a code is there, right? So you can do that. And as well as I think it's very easy for like other environments to deploy, like we do in Azure App Services. We have slots. So it's very easy to manage all these kind of different environment as well. Even production is staging.
So you have a test environment separate from your production environment. So I take it that you would deploy to this in the same way to all your environments?
Yes, it's just basically just an environment setting up variables, like where you wanted to go and where you want to deploy.
Okay, I can see the value in this, because then it means that we are kind of hands-free running things, and we can just continue with our coding happily, and hopefully the automation then takes care of everything else. Okay, so specifically in Azure DevOps, what are the main kind of components? You said it's a whole category, ecosystem you said. It's a whole ecosystem of things. What kind of services are in this offering?
So yes, like in Azure projects, the most important thing is if you are having an experience of like managing a project, so you must be using Azure boards. So in Azure boards, there's which is specifically designed for the Scrum Masters. I would say the person who has to manage their entire project tickets and there's I would say all the tasks to manage. So Azure board is kind of a good and amazing thing to manage very easily all the tasks, whatever you have to assign.
So you create your tasks and you have a board you can stick them on?
Like a Kanban styles
but you have to use Scrum?
Yes.
Is there any other method?
I guess Agile, so my experience, we generally use kind of a Scrum things, but I would not be constant on that, but maybe the Agile.
So you manage your project using a board system with work items, so you can move them across the board. Okay, that's basically what a lot of people are doing already. All right, brilliant.
So, along with that, we have the second thing which we generally discuss to manage our pipelines and the integrations.
So what exactly is a pipeline?
So pipeline, if I would say in general terms, so pipeline is kind of a complete process where we do automate things, right? So when we do, like, there could be a code coverage testing, there could be automation testing, whatever we try to fix in between.
Unit tests?
Yes, it could be a part of that.
Cool.
So because code coverage comes in under that as well. So if we do that, like once you start doing it, so whatever process you have defined to automate your deployment, so that particular process or that complete queue, we can call it as a pipeline.
Okay. And so if I have my code, my application, and I'm testing it on my local machine and I see some things are running now, I check it in and I push it to. So how does it relate to where I'm pushing it to next? Like which, you said environments in for example, in Azure then. How does that work? I get my application to the environment. How does it interact with Azure?
So when I would say in that case, we have different environment settings for the different projects, right? Even different infrastructures. So whatever configurations you have maintained at your I would say application settings, or maybe application variables, that has to be taken care by that environment only, where you deploy all the IP addresses from where your data is coming, or maybe I would say rather data, maybe your REST API's endpoint from where your data is coming, or the other dependencies from where you are loading it. Suppose on your local you are using some kind of I would say the local dependencies, but when you deploy them, you have to use some licenses, which is enterprise license, or maybe which is having some license key. You don't want to use them on local. So these kind of settings, I would say, and
so you put the settings like your secret settings and stuff.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. We should cut it.
Yeah, no, that's okay. We'll keep it in the video because that makes it better. All right. So, but when things go wrong? How do I handle things when it doesn't work as intended with my deployments?
So the logs is an amazing thing in that. The errors mechanism of the complete console gives you all the insights about it. And I'm sure we can easily handle them.
Yeah, okay. So what else is there we need to know about DevOps? We've covered a lot of ground already.
Yes, there are many things.
So there's we have covered the project management just a little bit on the surface there, and some pipelines we have. And,
you have a better idea even than I. You should also add your points into it.
What else is there in DevOps?
So as per like my experience, what I'm using right now, so I have just mentioned, now it's you. What do you want to add in this conversation?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Turning the tables, I like that.
Yes.
So I find it useful to work in the direction of full environment automation. I know it's a little bit challenging to some organizations to do. Have you tried to deploy the whole testing environment infrastructure and then deploy the application to that, run your tests on the environment, and then destroy them again?
This is good.
Why? Like, have you tried to do that?
Not myself, even I did that, but yes,
it's an advanced thing to do. But
not myself, I haven't tried, but
the value of this, obviously, right?
Obviously, is saving time.
There's a promise in the cloud, right? The promise is that it's pay per use only.
Yes,
right.
That's the best part.
So that's the best point, right? And if you don't have a resource in the cloud, it's costing you nothing.
Yes, absolutely.
So you just remove the resource, zero cost.
Absolutely.
So I often say that what you should do when you come to, or I work as a consultant, what you need to do when you come to a customer is to hover, take the delete button, and say, I'm going to delete your test environment.
Yeah.
And if they go all crazy, it's like, no, don't touch that. Then they probably haven't done enough automation, right?
Yes. That's
right. But if I go and say, I'm going to delete your test environment, it says, I don't care.
Oh, okay.
Just go ahead, do it.
Yes.
Do it. Right? And then they'll run some deployment, and the test automation, test environment comes back.
Yes,
right?
automatically.
Then that is enough of automation, I would say.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yes, I 100% agree.
Yeah. So what's kind of your message there to organizations that haven't fully yet, because there are many,
yes,
again,
that's true.
There are many organizations that are not using automation and DevOps, right? A lot of organizations.
Yes.
So what is your message to them? What should they do?
Yes, so I am based in India, right? So what I have seen over here in the Indian market, because I have even my experience right now where I'm working. So I have seen many customers they are using the old classical way to manage their project development, and that's taking so much time.
Yeah.
And even there's no quality code, there's no quality testing.
So time and quality?
Yes, I would say. Yeah. And the performance, I would say, of the on employees, because what they are writing, which is not, I would say, it's not a good code. But if you do the 100% unit testing using code coverage, and along with that, you keep testing your code on every stages using any other mechanism what you do, but using specifically Azure DevOps, what my message is, we should at least try, because there are many tools available. But when I experience this is an amazing. And it's made my life easy.
So if we round off with like a final thought, then what should I do if I am a manager? If I'm listening, right, and I'm a manager somewhere, and I know that we are not doing our best yet in terms of automation and DevOps, how do we retrain, or how do we add this tool to our organization? What would be the steps that
So there's a little bit learning curve first that we can follow up on a Microsoft official website, on Azure, or somewhere else.
Yeah.
So there are many learning resources there. So first thing first, what I would suggest, we should have a learning curve in personal or professional life as well. We should get into our mind. And the second thing is the adoption level. We should be ready for this adoption, because whenever we try to adopt something new, it's a big challenge for everyone to adopt and to start with.
Right.
And we start complaining to our managers, like, this is not working, this is bad, this is something else.
So the problem is that or the challenge is, you're saying that there's a little bit of a learning curve, and it takes a bit of investment.
Yes, at least, because whenever you just deploy your applications on their own cloud, it's cost you, right? So, but the best part is, it's pay as you go.
Investment, right? Yeah. So after the initial pain and struggle, the benefit is forever.
100%.
All right, brilliant. Thank you so much, Nitin, for being on the Cloud Show today.
I just shared my experience. I'm not sure how it can help to others, but yes, I just shared.
Thank you. So thank you for being here. I loved it, and thank you, audience. And I will see you next time on the Cloud Show.
Thank you.